Good morning, everyone. This is Victor Johnson with Goodwill Columbus. Today, we're going to be talking about the resume. And we've been doing that, all week. And we have been featuring the resume, information about the resume, and ways for you to work on your resume with a specialist here at Goodwill. And we're going to continue that all of next week as well. So this week and the week of the 15th, we're focusing on the resume and trying to get you any help that you need to work on your resume. I do want to show you one of the places that you can go to get some assistance. The website below me right there, I'm going to leave that up for a while so you can find out what kind of resources we have and the things that we're offering to help you. So today we're talking about the resume, and what I want to focus on today are those tips for writing an effective resume. Now, writing an effective resume is kind of like introducing yourself to someone. Remember that before someone meets you for an interview, the only way that they know you is through your words on paper, through your resume. So what are you communicating in your resume? I mean, there are different parts of the resume that are standard, like your contact information, and then maybe a list of your skills, and then your work experience. But what are the words that are going into those different sections? That's what makes the difference, because you are introducing yourself to someone through your resume, and you want to make the best impression possible. So let's look at some do's and don'ts for the resume. For that first section, that contact section, only use one telephone number. Be sure your email address, voicemail message, and social networking sites are professional. And I'm going to make this just a little bit bigger just because I want to emphasize that. Your social networking and your sites that you use, these are things that employers are allowed to look up. So, if you put your resume in and the person wants to find out more about you, they can look you up on Facebook and see what your Facebook page looks like. And they can get from that, some kind of idea of what your basic character is like. Now that we live in an age where so many things are online and so many things are online forever, we just need to be really careful about what we portray ourselves as on the internet, in the cloud. We've got to be responsible about what we do. Now, one of the things I would ask you to do, if you don't have it already, is to get a LinkedIn page. LinkedIn, and if you want to start a LinkedIn page, you can just go to www.linkedin.com. And LinkedIn is, think of it as the Facebook for professionals, the Facebook for careers, the Facebook for business, the Facebook for employment. So it is a site where you're talking about yourselves in a professional way. It's a place where you can look for employment, where you can further your career, even take classes to increase your skills. 1 to 2 pages in length, your resume should be. And people say, well, shouldn't it be 1 page? Well, in some cases, it might be 1 page. But remember, every resume you do is going to be focused on the job you're applying for. So if you have more experience and you need to show that experience, your resume may be 2 pages, okay? Your name is bolded and your name is larger than the rest of the text on the page. And use something that's easy to read, a 12-point font, Arial of New Times Roman. Don't go below 10 because then it's too hard to read. And don't use fancy fonts or whimsical fonts because then that gets hard to read too. All right. Wrong place. Okay. Use present tense verbs to describe duties in your current job, internships, or activities. And use past tense verbs when describing your duties from a past job. So if you're saying that I presently work at a place, you will say, things like, I develop curriculum for students. You wouldn't say I, you just say develop curriculum for students instead of developed curriculum for students. You would say things like utilize online and in-person methods to contact parents instead of utilized, okay? If it's something you're doing now, present tense verb. Otherwise, it's a past tense verb. And when you list your skills in a resume, this is important. Think about the skills that you have. If you are really good at using computers and you're very familiar with Word or PowerPoint or Excel, that's one of your skills, okay? If you are someone who can easily adapt, or you've got great math skills, that's a skill that you need to put down. Never write references available upon request. That's an old thing from years ago that people used to do. And, nowadays it's not necessary. And two, you don't want to get called on it. You just write references available upon request because it was on a template you saw. And then what if they say, well, give me your references, and you don't have them, okay? So, and you do not use the pronoun I. Your resume is about you, and your name is already at the top. So you don't use I did, or I utilized, or my. Everything is about you, so you don't need to say I did it. Proofread, proofread, proofread. Reread your resume, read it out loud, read it backwards. Make sure you've got all the mistakes covered. And have someone else read it. And if possible, have two people read it. This is a document that you want to be perfect, because probably the worst thing that could happen is you send your resume to somebody for a job you really want, and you've got things misspelled or your grammar is incorrect. And, right there, they're going to stop reading, because if you can't take the time to be that vigilant about your writing, why do I want you to work for me? And then save your resume as a PDF. And you save your resume as a PDF because when you send it, then it can't be changed easily. The resume formats, use bullets when you're describing your work experience. And also put a summary of skills. When you do this at the beginning of your resume, it's something that the HR person can read, and it instantly lets them know this is something I need to keep reading, okay? And then related or other experience on a resume, it's helpful when you have experience inside or outside of your field. So what would be an other experience that you have on a resume? Maybe you're part of a choir. Maybe you are a volunteer with the Red Cross. Maybe you are a driver for Meals on Wheels. Those are kind of things that employers like to know about. Your summary of qualifications. I talked about this being at the beginning of your resume, that you pinpoint your greatest strengths and your highest achievements in brief, positive statements. Brief statements. 3 sentences at the most. 3 brief sentences. Don't get too long in your summary, because if someone's looking at your summary and they see, this big paragraph, they're probably not going to want to start reading it, because, if I've been reading hundreds of resumes, all day, and I see, I've got a choice between two I can read, and one has three sentences for the summary, and the other one has like half a page for the summary. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm going to start with the one with 3 sentences because I'm going to feel like that's going to be more effective use of my time, and that the person understood that it's a more effective use of my time. Okay. And it's the section of the resume where you can create a fast and favorable attention. That's why it's short, because it's a fast impression. And it sets the tone for the rest of the resume. So here's an example of a summary statement, okay? Dedicated child advocate. Now notice it doesn't say I am a dedicated child advocate. Once again, you don't use that personal pronoun I or my. So dedicated child advocate with a focus on the unique needs of children with disabilities. 1 sentence. Flexible and accommodating professional who implements creative hands-on lessons that align with IEP goals. 2nd sentence. And possessing strong communication skills to develop excellent rapport with family members, colleagues, and the community. 3 sentences. 3 brief sentences. And, if I'm looking for someone working with children with disabilities, okay, now I can see this person is flexible, which you have to be when working with children, period. And accommodating, implements hand-on lessons, align with IEP goals, telling me that this person knows in education what IEP is, possessing strong communication skills to develop excellent rapport with family members. Crucial, in education situation. So just from reading this, now I want to see what the rest of this person's skills are. And I'd also like to say hello, good morning to Valerie Hawes. She's moderating the chat this morning. Thank you for doing that, Valerie, and good morning. Okay. Now, here's the part of the resume where I think people have the most problem. When they're describing their past work experiences. Remember, first of all, you want to use bullets, okay? Second, the words that you use to describe your experience and activities should convey skills that you have developed and have to offer to an employer. You need strong action words and self-descriptors. You're not boastful or arrogant, but you are also concise, and factual and truthful. What should you make up for a resume? Absolutely nothing. If you have not done it, don't put it down. Be truthful on a resume. Telling falsehoods on a resume or saying you did things that you didn't, if you are found out, that's grounds for termination. You can lose your job because of it. Just tell the truth. Be factual about what you've done and how well you've done it, okay? Now, these action verbs, they start off those bullets, So the bullet starts with adapted, like that. Adapted money counting procedures to ensure accurate count of sales, okay? Administered, analyzed, approved, completed, implemented, empowered. You want your bullet to start off with a strong action verb. And here's the thing. If you don't have one, or if you're online, you can go to dictionary.com and you can look up synonyms for the action verbs that you're using. If you're using certain word processing software, you can look for synonyms for the verbs that you're using. Because let's say I developed something, or I developed 3 things at the last place I worked. I don't want my bullets to say developed blah, 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 developed blah, 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 developed blah, blah, blah. See, I want some difference. I don't want to keep repeating the same thing over and over again. So I might say developed, created, and innovated. That way, it's more interesting to read. Now, here's a really important thing about your resume, and when you're describing your past job duties or your past experience, if possible, quantify your past performance. You see this one that says save $5,000 annually by reducing fixed spending. Well, think about something you may have done at your job. Maybe you came up with a way to save time by doing certain actions. Well, try to think of how much time you saved during the day, and then add that up. 24 hours in a day. If your business was open 24 hours, think about it. How much time did you save them? And time is money. So you save them money as well. If you can find out how much money you actually save the company, put that down. If you can remember how much time you saved for a certain task, put that down. Saved 1 hour daily in the purchase and stocking of inventoried material. Quantify it. Sorted over 400 products for location and inventory lookups daily. Cleaned homes for 15 clients monthly. Show how much you've done. Show your accomplishments. Don't just tell what your job was. Don't just say, I cleaned homes monthly, or I cleaned homes including sweeping, doing dishes, mowing the yard, whatever. No. Okay, that says what you did, but how well did you do it? And how much did you do it? Clean homes for 15 clients monthly. That's a lot of cleaning, which means that you must be organized or you wouldn't be able to do that successfully. So think of the things that you've done and how well you've done them, and put that quantity or quantification or qualification, put that into your bullets. And the last thing I want to talk about are keywords in your resume. Now, keywords are specific words or phrases that job seekers use to search for jobs and employers use to search for candidates. Keywords are used as search criteria, similar in the way that you do research on the internet. And the more keywords you use, the more closely the job will match what you're really looking for. Now, what this means is when you're doing your resume, you want to use the same kinds of words that you saw in the job announcement. So maybe, let's say you cleaned 15 houses a month, okay? And part of the cleaning that you did was, refurbishing furniture, or, that was a skill that you had. And that's something, maybe you didn't have it in your resume before, but you see in the job announcement, one of the duties they're looking for is refurbishing of antique furniture. Well, let's say you already know how to do that. Instead of saying, I renew antique furniture or I restore antique furniture, use the same words that you saw in the job announcement. Refurbish. I refurbish antique furniture. Because most companies use an applicant tracking software. And what they do is when they're looking for people, they have the job announcement, and there are certain words in the job announcement. When the computer scans your resume, it's looking for the words that are in that job announcement. So the more words you match, the better your opportunities for that resume getting picked out by the computer and saying, oh, here's a person that's got a lot of these qualities that you're looking for, they match, okay? Now, a great way to learn how to do this is one of our new partners, is Goodwill and Indeed have partnered together, and it is a great partnership. Lots of resources that are available to you. I'm just going to show you this. This is the website that you can go to for Indeed, the Indeed Goodwill partnership. Now, making your resume on Indeed is really easy, and it's really professional looking resumes. So basically, if you go to that partner.indeed.com/goodwill website, then you can start an Indeed account, and then you can start working on your resume. And in Indeed, you can either upload a resume that you currently have, or you can start working on a resume from scratch. And when you are putting in, your experiences, then you can use some of these. Well, you can use these keywords, and you can use those action verbs for bullets, and you can customize your resume. And Indeed has, I believe, over 1.3 million subscribers, meaning businesses that go to Indeed and give them these job descriptions. So when you have your resume on Indeed, there are already companies looking to match those job descriptions, looking for resumes that match that job description. And then it kicks it out, and the next thing you know, you're getting an email from Indeed saying, this is a company you might want to apply to because it matches your skills, and this is what they're looking for. So be smart about your resume. And if you're not sure if your resume is up to par, then contact Goodwill, and we can help you with your resume. We can help you make it shine and make it sing. So that's it for today about resume writing tips. There's so much going on with resumes this week and next week, and we are here to help you. So, just please contact us if you are ready to work on your resume, or you just want someone to check your resume and make sure it's great. And you can always go to the Indeed.com Goodwill landing page, that site, and you can start an Indeed account, and then you can make your resume using Indeed. So, fantastic, great days ahead, and we're happy that you were here with us this morning, and we'll see you soon. Thank you for watching.